Well, hello there, and welcome to the Mindset Alchemy podcast, where we help you turn the lead of your past into the gold of your present and the fortune of your future. How do you do this, Janine? Well, I help you understand what awareness is. I help you understand the story you're telling yourself and what is involved in that story and how, through getting uninvolved in that story and creating a new one, you are so much more empowered to do what it is you are asking to do and how you're asking to do it. Now, those of you who follow the podcast know I talk a tremendous amount about the story we tell ourselves. Today, I would like to talk to you about the promises you make to yourself, because promises are either made as bargaining chips, they're made as guarantees, and they all come down to being a vow. Now, vows are binding. So, my suggestion is, and one that I have followed for many years at a subconscious level and now at a much more conscious level, is do not say you promise anything. If somebody asks you to promise, you say, I will set the intention to do my utmost, or we will see how it fits. However, when you say those words, I promise you, guess what happens? You set up a chain reaction that if you do not follow through with the promise or in the way that you've promised it or with the energy you've promised it in, you are actually setting yourself up for failure. You are setting yourself up to say to yourself, well, you see, you self says to you, see, you don't keep your promises to yourself. You never do what you say. And it becomes very low vibrational and it becomes a huge challenge. Now, I've heard people say, and I promise you that so and so will happen and this will happen about things that they actually have no control over. They have no impact on, and they have no way of creating space for it or allowing it to happen. And they're promising you about something they cannot deliver on. And this impacts our lives, it impacts our view of ourselves at a deep subconscious level. It also lays seeds in our unconscious that we don't necessarily wish to germinate in our life because it creates a bit of chaos. Yes, I know we create from chaos. This does not create a creative chaos. This creates a decaying chaos. So be very, very aware of when you say the words, I promise. And I suggest right now, because I do this on a regular basis, I uncreate and destroy, I rescind, I recant, and I renounce anywhere and everywhere I have made a vow inadvertently, intentionally, or unconsciously to myself, to others, or to situations. And I uncreate and destroy the lot because it holds us captive when vows, when we allow things to come forward and to prevent ourselves from moving forward. We put ourselves in chains with our words, with our promises that we have no idea are there. And when people come and see me and they say, I don't know what the reason is, I can't move forward. Well, let's go and see where you've made a promise or a vow without even saying the words, I promise. I saw this very much when I was working with couples who were challenged to have children. Somewhere, one of the couples had said or thought or been passionate about not having children. And then we had to go back and clear the energy of that and the intention of that and reset their mindset around that. We literally had to bring light onto a subject that had been turned dark and unbind those chains that had been put in place. We do this around success. We do this around our money, and we do this around relationships. And the sad thing is, we may have done it as children when we were not even aware of what we were doing. And it's when we can step forward and move away from that promise, reassuring ourselves that that was not the intention of what we are looking to create now. Yes, at that time, we were unaware. Now that we have awareness, we can create more consciously and make intentional choices. And we can flip that around where we choose consciously and create intentionally as well. And this comes from a deep inner knowingness using our intuition and understanding what our body is saying and what the cycles that keep repeating in our life are showing us. Because as you understand those cycles, you are able to see where you potentially made a promise or you set a vow without even realizing it. And sometimes you do realize it. You will see a visual or you'll remember yourself saying, and you go, oh my goody goodness, that was not the best option to do. Also, when we make a promise, when we say we will do something, that is an implicit promise. When you say you are going to do something and you inside of you have no intention of doing it, yes, your intention is not to do it. Your words have said you will do it. This sets up a conflict within ourselves that also creates confusion because life doesn't know which way to go, which way to take you, and what to create for you. And this confusion is not a creative space for good. It's not a high vibrational creative space. And it's when you can step forward and say, okay, I apologize for doing that. This is my intention. This is what I choose to do. Sometimes you'll say you'll do something and you completely forget. It's to apologize to yourself, to the situation, to the person, and that releases you from the bonds that you have set in place to keep yourself stuck. It also helps you have more belief in yourself. It helps you to create at a much more deeper aligned level with yourself. It also brings you into an awareness of your senses and of what is happening with yourself. When you are empowered to do this, you actually create a far more effective space and place for yourself to move forward, especially in business. A story I'd like to share with you is when I was much younger, my father was in business with himself. And because I was young, I didn't fully understand the dynamics between my parents and my father's partners and his partner. And I made a vow, I will never marry a businessman. I don't want to be married to a businessman and I never wish to have a business. Well, my husband failed at 3 businesses. My business didn't grow. And then I asked, what's going on here? And this awareness of that young 4, 5-year-old that did not understand the dynamics came forward. And I was able to, and I'm doing it again now, release myself from that vow, that promise to myself, that deep emotional, low vibrational intention that I set. And through setting new intentions, forgiving myself, forgiving that young child, forgiving the vow that was made then, and releasing myself and my inner child, my younger self, from those vows, that my business began to grow. And my husband's business began to grow, and both our businesses are growing, thriving, flourishing, and expanding. And when things pop up, I go, sorry, I undid that vow, I undid that intention, and I understand that I did not have full awareness then. And we are now resetting it. We revoke that one and we rebirth a new one of success. And some of the affirmations I use is life is amazing, life is awesome. I have more money now than ever before. My business is growing exponentially and confidently. My husband's business is growing beautifully and expansively. And this is what we get to do. We can affirm the success we wish to have and put a new seed, a new story into our unconscious and remove and replace that one that is not serving us for our highest good. And this is what I help my clients to do with my psychic abilities, my medical intuitive abilities, so that you can have the story you wish to have, that you can pull out the weeds of unawareness and plant a far more conscious choice and intentional creation within your life, your business, and your relationships. I would love to hear what came forward for you and where realizations are popping up for you of what potentially has caused the reality you may not enjoy having. Because sometimes we can have a reality we enjoy and parts of it we don't enjoy. And it's to go back and track back and see what we have fed our unconscious that then filters throughout to our subconscious and becomes conscious in our lives. Anyway, I would love to hear from you. Email me via my website, JanineKathleen.com, or find me on social media as Janine Kathleen with a K. And let's chat about how I can help you plant great seeds and pull out the weeds. Have a grand, glorious, and phenomenal day. Bye bye.